Hello everyone, welcome back to another installment of an expert's guide to Path of Exile. Now today I want to start off with the obvious elephant in the room. Um, I understand that some things that I had said in my previous video came across as offensive to some people. And I am here to say I am sorry if you were offended. I am truly sorry that you feel that way. Um, there's no excuses. All I'll say is that I'm a '90s kid. You know, back then these terms were not considered to be offensive. And I understand times change and people's feelings change, and you can't say anything these days. So I understand that, and I want to apologize primarily to the sponsors, obviously. Not that I have any sponsors, but the potential sponsors. Any any company that might be out there watching my videos, who's thinking about perhaps hiring me to advertise their alternative to cooking product um, or their manscaping or something like that. I am truly sorry. I'm only human. I just ask that you give me another chance as I work through this difficult time. Um, but honestly, to everyone who was offended, again, I'm a '90s kid. I didn't mean anything by it, and I thank you for just letting us move on. Um, okay, so with that said, let's get back to what they call the content, right? So I'm going to try and bring my expertise to bear. Do you guys hear that dog? Yep. So I'm going to try and bring my expertise to bear. So let's see where we left off. We have a few things to do. So we had just found, I believe, the Solaris Temple, and there's something very strange about this, right? The fact that it's intact, well organized, clean. Now there are still hostile statues that will attack you, so not everything is good. No idea where that dog's coming from. Oh, sounds like it's in the house, eh? Not sure if you're picking that up. But I'm sure they'll stop soon. Okay, so we're being attacked by these ribbons, and okay, look out here. Oh, geez. We got something called a voltaic seal and an infernal seal. So these are ribbons that are siblings, obviously. You want to take them down. They drop some excellent items most of the time. Okay, leveled up, Orb of Alchemy. As I said before, one of the most dangerous things in the game is trying to pick those up. But if you kill all the enemies in the vicinity, it can be safe to actually bend down and try and grab those. As we did there. Okay. So we're heading deeper into the Solaris Temple. Now, it's an interesting story. So the temple is named after this guy Solaris, who was actually a peasant. Back in the days of the cataclysm that hit the city of Sarn, which is where we are now. So you may have noticed that the place is a complete wreck. But, okay, what? That box detonated nearby corpses. That's a very dangerous affix. If you see that, you want to jump away as quickly as possible. Oh gosh, and here's a rogue exile. So this is actually another player in the game, I think, who can be spawned and called into your maps, and then you have to fight each other. And we took them down, so that was lucky. There's no guarantee you'll be able to take. They're usually pretty difficult characters. It depends on how the player built his or her build, of course, but some of them can be very, very hard. Okay. Oh, yeah, and I just found the dog. Okay. You okay, buddy? Probably fine. Okay, we're going to activate this waypoint, And who's this up here? Oh, wait a minute. Somebody named Lady Diala. She looks normal enough. We'll speak to her. Okay. So she's not immediately hostile to us. Not necessarily a big fan. But she's happy we found her. We gave her an item that we had got from the Blackguards back in the previous area, if you recall. And she gives us an amulet. So what am I going to go with? Well, I'm a strength dexterity character. So these two amulets would be useful. But this intelligence amulet could also be useful in case there's something I need to wear that has a bit of intelligence, because I'm very low on that stat, so having just a little bit can help. So I'm going to go with that one. And she's given us another job. Now let's go in here. This is not required, but this used to be a very important part of the game. This place called the Eternal Laboratory. So you'll notice there's this device. It's called a Reverie device. And you can get some dialogue from, more of a monologue really, from one of the main villains back hundreds of years ago when this cataclysm happened, a guy named Malachi. And it's a little unclear whether we can trust him or not. I would recommend suspending judgment on that for now. We haven't met him yet, so we don't need to decide immediately. But there's some interesting lore there if you want to check it out. Now, I've headed back to the battlefront, and I've been given a job, I believe. Now, I thought we actually got this before, and we did. Okay, so I think I clicked the wrong waypoint. I had meant to go to the docks, right? Yeah, so I'm not quite remembering exactly where we left off. So I guess we did not get the item at the docks last time we were here. We chose the wrong way. It's really hard to keep all this straight. So don't feel bad. Even I, an expert, 8,000 hours, still forget these things. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, we'll just travel through the docks here. We are looking for some kind of item. It's some kind of sulfite or something like that. Anyway, it's a burning agent that we're going to bring back to Lady Diala. She's going to mix it up into a special solution of some kind. And then we're going to use that to burn that undying mass of flesh that we found back in the sewers. Because we need that to travel across the river and get to the other side of town so that we can take down General Gravicius, which is a job that one of the NPCs back in town gave us. Now, obviously, you have to go through the sewers. The only other way to get to the other side of town would be if you had a boat or something like that, or a piece of wood that you could float on. Clearly, we don't have those things, so instead, we need to fight the otherworldly flesh that's blocking the way through the sewers. To do that, obviously, you have to burn it. It's the only thing that'll work. And therefore, we need the appropriate agents to carry that out. All right, so again, we're having some bad luck here finding the item. I think it's going to be here on this last branch that we checked. That just happens sometimes. You get lucky and you get unlucky. Again, as that wise man once said, RNG is RNG. That's something to reflect upon. Okay, lots of monsters out here. So I'm going to go after this guy, Stoic Frenzy. Mostly because I like his name. A bit of an oxymoron, right? The Stoics were not given to frenzy. In fact, they said you should free yourself from frenzy. So that was quite a contradiction, and enough reason by itself to remove him from the world, which we just did. So, all right, let's continue. You know, it's possible that there might be a bug in this instance. Our sulfite is just not appearing. Give it one more try up this way. Oh, and we see an excited mark over there. And there it is, the supply container. But Again, because we don't have access to a boat or any sort of flotation device, we can't float across the water there, so we're going to have to run up here and go around, but it's not too bad. In fact, we can jump over that. Oh, look at that, see? Shortcut. And the supply container. Now, I don't want to fight these guys because they're very difficult. I just want to try and grab that fometic sulfite as fast as I can. And let's put down a totem, and let's fight to the death. Now that we have the item, if we die, it's not a big deal. There's really no penalty in this game for death, as far as I know. Pick up a Colossal Life Flask. So these guys are ghosts or something. Let's see here. Okay, we leveled up again. I'm going to pick up that shield. So it might be better than the one that I have. The one that I have is, you know, look at it. It's just a plank. It's not in great shape. So, in fact, while we're back in town, let's investigate some things. Now, we finally got a 4-link, which is nice. Identify everything we got. So I'm not going to use that shield because it does have an intelligence requirement. My guy is not very smart. These gauntlets, and we got some armor on them. Yeah, might as well replace them. Take a look at some other things here. Boots, 15% increased movement speed. I think that's more than 10. So I'll replace those. Movement speed, very important in this game. Look how fast my guy's going now without that. Not very fast. Sell the items I don't need. Yeah, this amulet's got some life on it, so I might as well keep it. Do that. Okay. So let's see about equipping this 4-link. Now, it's just a blue item, but it has life and lightning resistance, which are two very good affixes to have. And the fact that it's a 4-link makes it much better than my 3-link previous body armor, even though it was rare. So this serves me well. I could sell it, but I feel like let's throw it on the ground in case somebody else wants it. Okay, so we're going to stick with Cleave as our main damage gem. And we're going to stick with melee physical support and maim support. Now you'll notice that the 4th gem slot that we now have is green, which is very interesting. Let's see if we have any green gems that we might use. So I have Arctic Armor and Double Strike, Earth Shatter. I'm going to take these out because they're above my abilities at the moment. So Clarissa doesn't really sell many support gems, so she's not going to have any green support gems at the moment. I'm going to go back to Act 2 to pick one up. Probably should have picked it up earlier. But honestly, there's just too much to think about in this game. I don't want to talk to Groost. He's still pretty upset about the events of Act 2, understandably. Just give him some time to cool off. And here in the search bar, you can type support. That'll highlight just the support gems. So I was hoping for faster attacks. Unfortunately, this character doesn't get access to faster attacks. Not all characters have access to all the same inventory or, vendor items per playthrough. Eventually, we will have access to every single one, but not immediately. So that's a bit annoying. But let's find a green support skill gem. Those are for projectiles, culling strike, no. Close combat might be something. Supported skills deal more melee damage to enemies based on proximity, so that's good because we're getting close with melee. We get combat rush, which gives us 20% more attack speed on travel skills. And can only be used by axes or swords. So I'm actually going to take that. We now have a 4-link cleave. It's not the ideal setup. Sadism is a relatively new support. Let me see. That's for ailments, which we don't use. Okay, so our primary attack now is going to be significantly stronger. So let's go back to Act 3, return to Diala in the Solaris Temple. She's up this way. I talk to her. She's happy. She makes us this infernal attack, which is a very nice... Oh, okay. Here's another... Oh, boy. Rogue Exile that just spawned out of nowhere. So some player happened to be in this zone, so let's fight him. And look, they dropped some good things. So some rare rings. Who knows? I'll take a look at that axe and see if it's worthwhile. Probably isn't. We want to now head back to the sewers. Okay, we head over this way. Remember this, the Undying blockage. How do you get past that? Right? Well, you click it. And there you go. It burns into nothing. Do we now have access to the Ebony Barracks? So we're going to come up on the bad guys right in the midst of an area they consider to be safe. So this is technically a war crime, but try not to worry about that too much. Okay, so this new axe is not better than my old one. Again, the vendor recipe that gives physical damage is usually always going to give you something better than what you find on the ground. So look at these Blackguard soldiers. These guys came from Orieth. They're with Piety, working with her, really trusting their lives to her, which may not pay off. Certainly didn't for these guys. I'm going to head up this way. And see, some of my hotkeys got messed up, so when I changed my skills around, that messed things up a little, so let me take care of that right now. I'm going to put Molten Shell on my move skill, so when I move, it triggers that when it's ready. I got Cleave on my right click still, level up these gems here. I got Leap Slam on my mouse 5 button. My Pride is going. And my War Banner I reactivated, so that came off. So whenever you make changes to equipment or stats or something like that, you want to just take a look and make sure everything's okay. And we are now. So you might notice, I'm not sure, I don't think I had this last time, I updated the cosmetic of my skill, Cleave. So you might notice that I got a hand, like a big claw thing, that shoots out, which is pretty neat. And you don't have to use cosmetics if you prefer sort of an uglier, more boring aesthetic. That's perfectly fine. No one says that you have to do the thing that looks better. Okay, let me, yeah, okay. So here's Gravicius. He's working with Piety, and he is not a nice man. So despite the fact that this is a cowardly attack in the midst of their barracks, he deserves it, right? At least we can safely assume. Alright, so he had some energy shield, took a while to get that down. Now we're damaging his health. He drops this firestorm spell, right? These things hit you. I hit my molten shell to help with that a little bit. I'm, oh, yep, geez, running out of some life here. Out of flash, and look at that, right? Nothing you can do about it. It happens. Let's re-hit our auras. And one thing I forgot to re-equip some of these items, or some of these gems. So my Ancestral Protector is worth having. It'll help us out. And I'll put the Steel Skin on here just for leveling purposes. Now, it's not really useful to have Steel Skin plus Molten Shell at the same time because they share a cooldown. They're both guard skills, I believe they're called. Now, this axe might be worth upgrading. Take a look at that when we get back. Okay, so let's run back to Gravicius. I believe his health will stay low, but his energy shield regenerates. So we'll have to go through that again, but no problem. Let's see here. It didn't regenerate all the way. So best strategy, just stand here, drop a totem, wait till he's dead. And he fought for God. Who did we fight for? Actually, I don't know, but that's for everyone to decide on their own heart, I suppose. So I'm just going to run up this way to the other temple, which is known as the Solaris Temple on the other side of town. You can see we got a lot of dead ribbons out here. The bad guys clean the place out. So I'm going to check this. Oh boy. There's a lot of density in here, a lot of monsters. Or bad guys at any rate. Okay, I'll take that shrine. I think that gives me some nice damage. So one of these guys is a rare enemy. Where'd he go? Did he run back here? I have no idea. So you see our cleave is doing better, thanks to that 4th gem. Another strong box, might as well get it. It's never a waste of time to stop and pick up items, because you never really know what you're going to end up with. It could be something as rare as a Chaos Orb, or even an Exalted Orb. Or it might be something that's not really any good at all, but you don't know unless you check. Again, okay, here's the rare monster I was thinking of earlier. So Fleshrend, he's a Grand Inquisitor. And he dropped an Orb of Fusion, which will be useful later on. Now we're currently in the Temple of Solaris, who was the sister of the guy that I mentioned, or sorry, we're in the Temple of Lunaris, who was the sister of the guy I mentioned before, Solaris. They were both peasants back in the days of the Cataclysm, and they tried to warn the people against the departure from the old ways, which was sure to lead to disaster, and eventually did. Now, I haven't read all the lore in a while, and some of it possibly never, so I don't know the full story, but it is very interesting to think that these peasants were given their own temples. Apparently it wasn't enough to avert the cataclysm, which is understandable, but nonetheless, at least they got these monuments out of the entire ordeal. Okay, now there's a very tough guy here named Cole. I recommend skipping him. He's just too tough. But I have enough experience where I feel comfortable stopping to fight him. He is a really bad guy, so you're doing good by taking him down. But first-time players, I do not recommend it. Just run through, and he will lose interest soon enough and leave you alone. Which is good advice for life in general, frankly. Okay, so we're just going to add the waypoint. Now, we're looking for piety down here. She's going to be on the next level, the lower level of the Solaris Temple. We're not going to head there yet. We're just going to activate the waypoint, so we got it for later. Head back to town. Okay, so talk to Maramoa. She's glad that we killed Gravicius. We can pick a skill gem. She gives us the option for various active skill gems. I'm going to stick with Cleave, so I'll just take one at random. Check the notice board. Yep, still no one playing the game, but maybe you'll have better luck. Talk to Grigor. He's very happy. He tells us to go kill Piety. That's our job. Even though she was an ex-girlfriend. So there's quite a bit of drama here from a personal point of view. The player may have mixed feelings, but you have to obey the quest givers.
Watch yourself.
All right. So I'm going to sell some items that I don't need. I'm going to save this better axe and sell the rest to Piety, or sorry, to Clarissa. Whoops. That's not a spoiler. Check out these gems. I'm going to sell that old amulet. It's got life, I'll save that. Go here. Let's equip our new items, including the flasks. That's an old ring. And remember the recipe to upgrade a melee weapon with some extra physical damage. I'm going to grab one of these whetstones. Now I have a lot more than you would have at this point. And I'm not going to rely on those extras. I'm just taking one because I've been putting my currency in this tab, and I do have at least one extra whetstone from this playthrough, so that is not cheating. Just like to stress that. Okay, back to Clarissa. Gotta pick up this rustic sash, and I'll take a magic one.
See you.
And she can do the recipe. So I sell her the item, in this case the axe, the whetstone, and the rustic sash, and that's going to give me some sort of blue item, because the belt was blue, that has 41% increased physical damage, so it's almost certain to be better than what I got now. In fact, it already is. 38 to 71 physical damage versus 30 to 54. We may get lucky and get some other properties on this that will increase that even further. Probably not, but let's see. So what did we get? Okay, it didn't come with any others. But I can add one with an orb of augmentation. And it gave us light radius and global accuracy. So the accuracy isn't worthless at this stage of the game. But it's still a better axe. We're going to get rid of this old one. And I'm going to put War Banner back in here. And these items are just for leveling purposes, these gems. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got Blood Rage. Put that back on my active side. And that's great. Okay, so now we took care of some quest. Next job, take care of Piety. Last thing we're going to do on this installment is spend our 3 skill points that we've amassed. So remember, our medium-term goal is to head down here to these shield nodes. We are still going to do that, but first I'm going to take this mastery skill here in Life Mastery. You can see because I got all 3 passive skills in this wheel, I can now choose one of these central passives as well. So some of these are pretty good, especially the life ones. Plus 50 to maximum life is going to be the most useful at this point. See in the bottom left, I'm at 1,091 life right now. With just this one node, we go up to 1171. Okay, done with that, we continue our journey to the shield nodes. We're almost there. So we need one more travel node, and then we'll be able to come down here and get some of these. That'll increase our block chance, defenses from the shield, attacking while having a shield, which we do, and then we'll be able to take a mastery again from the shield node, just as we did here with the life node. Okay, so I'm going to leave it for there. We're getting very close to the end of Act 3. In the next installment, we are going to take on Piety. It is a graphic scene, so fair warning to everyone for next time. And we may actually finish Act 3 on the next video. So I will see you then. I hope you learned something. Again, I apologize to potential sponsors for some offense that some people took, but we're moving on from that. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.